15 tips to help save money. Tip number 1. Create a budget. Begin by creating a budget to track your income and expenses. This will assist you with recognizing areas where you can cut back and save more money. Tip number 2. Set savings goals. Specify clear savings goals, whether it's for emergencies, a vacation, a down payment on a house, or retirement. Having clear and concise goals will motivate you to save. Tip number 3. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account monthly. This makes saving money easy and causes you to practice saving before spending. Tip number 4. Track your spending. Monitor your expenses to determine areas where you can cut back. Use budgeting apps or spreadsheets to categorize your spending and figure out opportunities to save. Tip number 5. Limit impulse purchases. Avoid impulse purchases by applying a waiting period before buying non-essential items. Make sure you have time to consider whether the purchase is necessary and fits within your budget. Tip number 6. Shop with a list. Prepare a shopping list before going to the grocery store or shopping online. Stick to the list to refrain from unnecessary purchases and impulse buys. Tip number 7. Comparison shop. Compare prices from various retailers before purchasing, to ensure you're getting the best deal. Use price comparison websites and apps to locate the lowest prices on items you need. Tip number 8. Use coupons and discounts. Take advantage of coupons, promo codes, and discounts to save money on your purchases. Search for coupons online and through loyalty programs. Tip number 9. Cook at home. Eating out at restaurants can be expensive, so try cooking at home more frequently. Plan your meals, buy groceries in bulk, and prepare meals beforehand to save time and money. Tip number 10. Reduce utility costs. Decrease your utility bills by being more energy efficient. Turn off lights and appliances when not in use, use programmable thermostats to regulate heating and cooling, and think about investing in energy-efficient appliances. Tip number 11. Cut subscription services. Review all of your subscriptions and cancel any you don't use on a regular basis. This includes streaming services, gym memberships, magazine subscriptions, and software subscriptions. Tip number 12. DIY whenever possible. Save money by doing things yourself instead of paying for services. This can consist of various things like home repairs, car maintenance, gardening, and basic household tasks. Tip number 13. Buy used or refurbished. Consider purchasing used or refurbished items instead of new ones to save money. You will find that there are stores that contain gently used clothing, furniture, electronics, and appliances at half the cost. Tip number 14. Negotiate bills and fees. Remove fear and start negotiating with service providers to lower your bills and fees. This could include negotiating your cable or internet bill, asking for a lower interest rate on credit cards, or waiving fees on bank accounts. Tip number 15. Plan for major purchases. Save up for major purchases instead of financing them with loans or credit cards. Set aside money monthly in a specific savings account until you have enough to purchase what you need in full. "15 tips to help you save money effectively." Recap. Tip number 1. Create a budget. Tip number 2. Set savings goals. Tip number 3. Automate your savings. Tip number 4. Track your spending. Tip number 5. Limit impulse purchases. Tip number 6. Shop with a list. Tip number 7. Comparison shop. Tip number 8. Use coupons and discounts. Tip number 9. Cook at home. Tip number 10. Reduce utility costs. Tip number 11. Cut subscription services. Tip number 12. DIY whenever possible. Tip number 13. Buy used or refurbished. Tip number 14. Negotiate bills and fees. Tip number 15. Plan for major purchases.